This is the Big Brother 27 live feed update. Comment, like, share, and subscribe. Get me to 1,000 subs. Okay, in this update, I'm going to talk about RYLIE. Somebody told him, finding out, I should say, that Morgan was trying to get him up as a replacement nom, which is now why he wants her head, literally. Well, not literally. He said this to Vince and Keanu in the storage room. I'm also going to touch on Amy sudden turn against Ashley because Ashley's not attached to her hip any longer. She's decided to socialize with other people outside of Amy and Rachel. And I do want to focus on Morgan because I feel like her nonstop gaming is kind of unintentionally comical. And Vince getting exposed, I'll touch on that lastly. But first, RYLIE. Now we know that Morgan was hardcore pushing for him to go up, along with Mickey, because they believe that Keanu voted with them. Funny enough, and that all started based off a lie that RYLIE told Keanu, and it seemed like Keanu decided to go with the lie that RYLIE told. Now, if only RYLIE knew the origin of Morgan kind of wanting to put him up is that, well, it's not just that vote. It's also she feels he's not doing anything because he's not like her going around constantly talking game 24/7. You know, it's a part of her. She wants to target the young girls thing because she sees RYLIE hanging out with Lauren and Catherine. We know Morgan can't stand that. They exist in the house, especially Lauren, because she wants Zach. But I don't know who told RYLIE, I have to be honest. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I think Ashley told him. Now, I know that Jimmy knows, obviously. Vince knew. And I'm sure Vince was kind of surprised that RYLIE found out that information. So I would think it was, but how would Ashley know? I mean, I think Ashley would know maybe through Rachel. I mean, I do see him talking to Rachel and Amy a lot, so maybe Rachel could have told him. Yeah, that's something that I didn't catch. So that's why I personally was caught off guard when he brought Morgan up, saying that she was talking about putting him up. And, you know, he's supposed to be in a heavy hitters alliance with her. You know, but again, that's a result of Morgan doing too much. Because for her to suggest that Jimmy put up RYLIE when they're in that heavy hitters alliance with them, you know, quite frankly, it validates what Keanu accused her of, which is being a snake. I mean, that is snake behavior. That, and she's also turning on Jimmy when Jimmy actually hasn't done anything against Morgan. You know, this was another week for her to chill and just build on relationships. Instead, she's going out of her way to make a bunch of alliances. But yeah, so Morgan is somehow coming out of this week worse than Jimmy, even though Jimmy was the one nomming almost all of the house. Speaking of that, Amy being one of the casualties of the renoms, I guess since she saw Ashley talking to a number of different people and not attached to her hip, because at one point in time, Ashley did spend a lot of times mainly talking to her. And so, because that's not happening anymore, Amy is turned on Ashley. You know, nothing actionable because she's on the block, but she was just talking negatively about her to Rachel, which, funny enough, when Ashley and Amy were attached to the hip, Ashley and Amy talk crap about Rachel. So it's just a funny thing to see, and it'll be interesting if that gets back to anybody. I mean, if that gets back to Ashley. I don't think Rachel will say anything. I personally think she'll keep it to herself. So she'll probably never know. And it might not matter because as of now, it seems like Amy is the one to go if she's still on the block, no matter who she's sitting next to. At least for now. Again, we'll see. Now, Morgan, I have to say, Morgan has been unintentionally comical. Like right now, as I'm recording this audio for this video, she's up talking game with her favorite, Zach, in the HOH room. But again, like I said before, she's been going around turning on her allies, RYLIE and Jimmy, trying to form a multitude alliances with herself, Mickey, and others. You know, obviously always including Zach and Vince, but trying to pull on Ava, trying to pull on Lauren, and trying to pull on Ashley, who, funny enough, Ashley, as Morgan tries to pull her in, Ashley is trying to get Morgan targeted. You know, so she's completely oblivious, despite the fact how some people might rank her high in the totem pole of who can win. Like, based on this specific week, you know, she's really shut down. The only thing that keeps her potentially still good is that she's one of these morons that wants to bring Rachel, you know, to the end, basically, with her and Mickey. And so I could see that would be her only point of protection because, you know, production wants people who are Rachel sycophants in the house. Because, again, we can't be too sure if they're even willing to sacrifice Amy yet. You know, even though Amy, for the most part, is not just a non-gamer. I mean, there's really no game going on. But she's a non-character. But, as we know, these people don't care if their audience is entertained. But yeah, Morgan's trying to start a bunch of alliances, saying names of who should be targets or nominees and replacements, even when they're a part of their alliance, and then making her list for jury when only one person has been evicted. Yeah, that's her doing too much. And people are catching on, seeing that Morgan is moving around a lot. Now, someone who's doing the opposite, not moving around so much, is Vince. But Ashley has noticed, which she shared with Rachel, that, you know, Vince is someone she sees moving around. Now, obviously, she has something against Vince because Vince is the one that nominated her after they made that, you know, HOH pact that no one who was competing in that 4-person HOH would put up the other. You know, obviously Vince broke that, and I'm sure she knew if she didn't win veto, she was going to be evicted. So, ultimately, I feel like Ashley's motivation to wanting to target Zach, it really just goes back to the fact that she's displeased with him nominating her and breaking that pact that we saw on the first episode. But anyway, that's all I have now as far as the live feed updates. And again, we'll see ultimately what happens. I thought today was Wednesday in a previous video. Just realized today's Tuesday because I said today was the last full campaign day. I'm wrong. Today's Tuesday, so Wednesday is the last. Tomorrow is the last full campaign day. And again, we'll see how that turns out.